Welcome back to Celebrate Truth. I'm Robbie Davidson, and we got another video for you today. And we're going to be going through this article I found on CNET. This is what flat earthers on social media really believe. Social clues. Oh, sorry, social cues. We dug deep into the flat earth and fell into outer space on the other side. So here we go. We have an article, and they're going to try to figure things out looking into social media. And let's just see what they pull up, see what they have to say. It's 2017 and we still have to explain to people that the Earth is not flat. More than 2,500 years ago, after Pythagoras and the ancient Greeks realized that our planet is spherical, some of Earth's residents still believe they are roaming around on a giant disk floating through space. Wrong. We do not. So, first of all, CNET, they start off with misinformation, disinformation, starting off saying that we all believe, or that, many of us, and they're going to preface it going into the article based on the fact that we believe that we're floating around in space on a giant disk. Now, other than the Flat Earth Society, not sure how many people would believe this theory. I don't know one. So again, this is not correct. We do not believe we're on a giant disk floating through space. Space is a construct created by man. It doesn't exist. It is a big lie. Now try to get your head around that one. Let's continue. Shaquille O'Neal is just the most famous of the recently declared flat earthers, with the basketball star joining the ranks of woke folks like Kyrie Irving and rapper B.O.B. Well, we already know now this is, I think, March 20th. So again, we're getting a little dated here, but Shaquille O'Neal, obviously the Mason, came out and said, I'm joking. Everything I say, actually 80% of what I say is jokes. Didn't you know that? Didn't you know when I give interviews? That's it? It's jokes? Come on. You should have known that. Which makes no sense, Shaq. Don't understand where you were going with that, but apparently Shaq went back and said, nope, never believed it. But we have Kyrie Irving, we've got B.O.B., we've got many other people coming out and standing strong and saying, yep, look into the facts yourself. Something's going on. I don't believe we're a spinning ball flying through space. Look into the facts. So let's continue on. Shaq was trending on Twitter and Facebook over the weekend for alleging the Earth was frisbee shaped with his foolproof argument, I drive from Florida to California. Well, we already know this one was silly. This was ridiculous. The fact that while driving from Florida to California, you don't go up in a 360-degree angle. That doesn't even make any sense. So again, we should have had, red flags when it came to something like this. It doesn't make any sense why someone would use an argument like that. But the Shack has gone back and said, I was just joking about everything I say. So let's not take him into the article. Let's continue on. So again, they're just basically saying that he's not alone in the beliefs. Just take a look at the hashtag flat earth on Twitter, and you'll find entire groups organized around disproving NASA, the European Space Agency, SpaceX, basically any organization that has actually been to space. Ah, actually been to space. SpaceX? Have you been to space? Don't think you have. NASA? Nope. European Space Agency? Nope. It's all a big lie, but yet people continually believe in this. It's really, really sad. So, anyways, they pull up a Twitter article or a Twitter tweet here. Airplane view of the flat horizon. It's a video. If a plane is going from New York to California, 3,000 miles away, flying at 500 miles per hour, and the Earth is rotating at 1,000 miles per hour in the opposite direction, shouldn't it get to California in 1.5 hours? Question mark. Serious question about globe Earth versus flat Earth. So, anyways, it continues on. Here's the most popular things that flat earthers on social media actually believe. The truth is out there, presumably on a flat surface. Ha ha ha. If the earth is round, why don't we see any curves when we look out? Okay, so now we're going to be getting into this argumentation, and let's just see what CNET has dug up. Are they going to give us any empirical, scientific, something that we can experiment on that's verifiable? Are we going to get any science out of this article? Let's wait and see, shall we? Shaq made the same argument in his rant, which B.O.B. also pointed out during his weird beef with Neil deGrasse Tyson. The idea is that you can look out forever and never see a curve, therefore proving the Earth is flat. People on Twitter post pictures, sorry, People on Twitter post photos from planes and high altitudes in an attempt to show that the horizon just goes on forever as a flat surface. These proofs are inherently wrong because they don't show any object in focus affected by the curvature. People are too small to see the curvature at eye level, which happens at 3.1 miles or 5 kilometers out. Next time you see a boat heading into the ocean, you'll notice it disappears after a certain distance. That's not because the boat is falling off the face of the flat earth, that it's moving out of your line of sight thanks to the round earth curves. Oh, I see. So basically, because of the Earth round curves, things disappear at 3.1 miles or 5 kilometers. We got a big problem here. People are seeing things distances over 100 kilometers, not 80 miles. There is so many things. Start searching for people seeing visibly things very clear at crazy distance. They're saying that basically everything is going to go out of your line of sight thanks to the round Earth curves at 5 kilometers or 3.1 miles. What do you do when you've got people seeing things at 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, even 100 miles away? People have seen these things. And yet, here we go again. Apparently, oh, it's only 3.1 miles, and that's why we're seeing ships go over the horizon because of the Earth's curves. And again, they always bring this up. It's always the Earth's curves. It's always this, right? This is where the flat Earth starts to get even weirder. This argument takes on both spherical planets and the heliocentric solar system. Under this model, the sun and the moon rotate around the flat Earth like ceiling fans and adjust the radius based on the seasons. This model also this model also suggests that the sun and the moon are both floating spheres with a 32-mile radius, 3,000 miles above the Earth's surface. NASA has determined that the sun is 92.9 million miles away, which is lucky for us. If the sun were only 3,000 miles away from the Earth, the planet would be burnt to a crisp, flat or round. And according to flat earthers, the sun and the moon both have radii smaller than San Francisco's square mileage. At that puny size, the Earth would never receive the amount of energy that it currently does for solar powered and photosynthesis. But the flat earther theories don't stop there. Oh, they don't stop at all, do they? Because we have NASA. NASA's already determined that the sun is 92.9 million miles away. Now, this is the same NASA that gave us this. In the 1960s and 70s, they supposedly went to the moon. Look at this picture, everyone. Look carefully. All right? This is ridiculous. Look at this. What is this, tin foil? Look at that, tin foil, right? What do you got? I have seen better tree forts built better by children. I have seen tent forts. I have seen cardboard forts with masking tape. Look at this. What is this? Now, we're supposed to believe that they went 240,000 miles away and threw this thing on the moon. Look at this. This is an actual photograph, and you're going to say that you're going to believe everything that NASA says. Well, NASA's determined, and NASA, didn't they go to the moon in the 1960s? Of course they did. They got the picture, didn't they? Yeah, only problem, they've never been back, have they? It's been what, 43, 44 years? Never been back. It's because they've never been there. Open your eyes. Look at the technology it would take to actually travel that far. The ISS, as they say, is 250 miles high. They even admit they can only go to low Earth orbit. So how is it in the 1960s and 70s they just went 240,000 miles away, landed in this piece of junk? Look at this. Are you kidding me? Look at this. We got rods here. We've got tin foil. We got some Scotch tape maybe going on here. What is this? A ladder coming down to the flag? Look at this. This is absolutely silly. Look at this. Tin foil, on the little lander pods there, this is completely, look at this. Do you think this would withstand anything in outer space? Space, the final frontier, in a piece of garbage made by NASA to deceive the masses. This is ridiculous. Let's get back to the article because I've had it with looking at this nonsense. Anyone that wants to hold to this and say that NASA actually went there in the 1960s, man, seriously, how stupid do you have to be? But that's the thing. It's the brainwashing. It's the propaganda. It's this entire illusion of the greatest feat of mankind's history. We did it. Man can achieve. We could ascend the stars. Kind of like how Satan wanted to ascend the stars and be like the Most High. It's like we have this obsession to go to space, to ascend the stars, to become greater, in our steps of evolution. Look at us go. And yet, wow, with our technology, we're not doing too much lately, are we? Do you know that there was more megahertz power in the computing system in an iPhone 3 than there was in the Apollo? And yet we're going to be led to believe that we went there? This is silly. Stop it. Come on. Let's get back to reality. Here we go. Back to what do flat earthers believe on social media? All right. They also believe that the moon doesn't rotate. In this video posted on Twitter, which received more than 113 likes. Oh wow. I love how they throw that in there. It received more than 113 likes. Guys, there's a lot more than 113 of us out there, if that's what you're trying to imply by putting in received more than 113 likes. Maybe add a few more zeros at the end of that. The speaker argues that you can only see one side of the moon in an attempt to prove that the Earth is actually flat and underneath a lunar object. The theory makes sense, but only if you're buying into all the other flat earth fallacies. It neglects the fact that the moon, like the earth and every celestial object, also rotates on its own. In fact, if the moon doesn't spin, like the tweet suggested, it would mean that people would actually get to see the far side of the moon. Here's an animation made for children that might help with the understanding. Gotta love this one. Here's an animation made for children. Only children would have to be so stupid as to believe this type of nonsense. So notice how they actually put in a video, not just an intellectual, scientific, hey, we're going to actually break this down, show you through real science why you're wrong. No, we're going to throw you a children animation why the tidal locking of the moon is the truth and why you're a moron if you don't believe it. So I found that really interesting, and really let's get back to it, because understand one thing here. How they make it look really silly to people. For the average person that's going to see an article like this and read through it, why it's going to become very, very silly is it's going to come down to, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense. We've already determined it in the confines of space. We've already discovered that it's wrong. But the problem is that we're not in space. The flat disk is not flying through the universe. This is where it becomes absolutely silly. This is the danger, and this is the deception of the Flat Earth Society. They created this model of space. The construct of space is still in place, and we're cruising upwards, to create the so-called gravity. Now, when you start actually applying a flat Earth type disk world or theory or model, however it is, inside a space construct, you have a very big issue. And again, this is where all these articles I've seen over and over and over again, how they can completely attack flat Earth, but giving it the space. Now, what you have to do and what we need to do as a community is we need to break that down and say, look, first of all, we don't really fully know what it is, what the model is. We're all looking at the fact that we do not believe we're a spinning ball flying through space. But I would imagine that most of us would believe that no, space, as we've been taught, does not exist. Therefore, it's easier to break down some of these lies that articles like this try to do over and over to make us look silly, putting up a children's video to help us understand why the moon operates the way it does in relation to the Earth. But the problem is there is no space, is what we've been taught in the flat Earth construct. We're on a plane, everything else is above us. But the idea that we're in space, whether it's in closed cosmology or not, what we've been taught about space, the vacuum of space, the infinite of space, all these sort of things, this is where we start breaking it down. So understand that, yeah, you're going to see this over and over and over again because people are trying to comprehend and they're trying to point people to the absurdities of believing this in the space construct. We need to break down the space construct because we're breaking down NASA, all these space agencies, and we're breaking down the whole idea of space because it's ridiculous. It doesn't exist. It's a lie. And let's continue on. Science has explained that the Earth rotates at 1,000 miles an hour at its equator, but flat earthers are not buying it. Would people feel the rush of the rotation if the planet were spinning at that speed? You could ask. Well, no, you wouldn't. Think about when you're on an airplane or a train ride that's moving at a constant speed, as astrophysics Sabrina explained from Cornell University. Ask an astronomer. Wow, I did a video just yesterday on Ask a Scientist. Maybe we need to go to Ask an Astronomer next. Maybe that will be the next video. As long as it's smooth, constant speed, you wouldn't feel any movements at all. When you're on a flight, do you feel like you're personally blasting at 570 miles an hour through the air? You feel a change in speed, not a constant. If the Earth suddenly stopped moving, the atmosphere would continue to blast forward at 1,000 miles an hour, destroying everyone, according to NASA. Oh, according to NASA, here we go again. Love it. So, who's this here? We got an astrophysicist, Sabrina. Well, we're going to save this maybe for another video. We'll see. I'm going to take a look at Ask an Astronomer because, like I said, my previous video, if you haven't seen it yet, check it out. It's pretty funny. Ask a Scientist didn't get too much science. So let's ask a astronomer next. Maybe we'll even talk to Sabrina, find out where she stands on some things. But anyways, love how they conclude the article. According to NASA, we would all die if we stopped moving. Love it. Great guys. Love how you put everything together. Again, you bring space, you bring gravity, you bring this whole construct together, and you tell us exactly why it's an impossibility. Because of your lies, you've made people believe anything. The fact that if the Earth was to ever stop, or if it didn't move, we'd all be dead. Therefore, flat Earth can't exist. You're telling me that it's motionless, it's still, it's stationary? No, no. I just read on CNET that we would all die. Oh, we would all die. It basically told me. Yeah, it was NASA. They told me that NASA said that we would all die if there was no spin of the Earth. We need to spin. NASA told me so. NASA told me so. They also gave me that, and a lot of people believed it, and it was silly. Look at that. Oh, we're just getting started, everyone. Expose the world's lies. Celebrate truth. Blessings. Take care.